Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Necessity versus Commodity. Brandon Collins is here today, and we're going to talk about AI, the big bad AI or the big sexy AI, however you want to take a look at it. If you're a business owner, brick and mortar, online, it doesn't matter. If you're in corporate, if you're a solopreneur, it doesn't matter. AI is coming into our world, and it's changing the game. It's changing the game the way a microwave did, a VCR did, cable did, the way that Uber changed, right? And if you're not jumping into AI and understanding the power of what it can do right now, because majority of people out there are just using it for, hey, a post this, a post that, hey, let's make some cute little videos. There is so much strategy, so many systems out there now, softwares that are going to allow people to put a 7-8 figure foundation into their business very simply, that's going to save you tens of thousands of dollars every single month on employees, but also streamline your business. And so Brandon's been in the space for a long time. He's been a business owner, built, exited, very successful. He's been in the online space for a long time. He actually has been an affiliate marketer with a ton of different softwares. He's moving into actually AI, fractional consulting, actually building software specifically for business as well. He's helping me on some projects. He's going to continue to help me on some projects. They're going to allow businesses, especially solopreneurs like myself or small businesses, to be able to start competing with the big dogs out there through automation. And if you're not jumping on this now, the big dogs are jumping on it. You are going to be squashed. So, Brandon, welcome to the podcast. Let's start off. What is the biggest change you've seen in the last 30 days with AI?
Oh, geez, last 30 days?
Yeah,
That's
because it's going fast.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be speaking to your audience. I really hope that everybody gets a lot of value out of this. But to answer your question, the last 30 days, the biggest change is going to be the release of ChatGPT 4.0, or ChatGPT 4 Omni. I don't know if your users or if your listeners have used ChatGPT for a while, but I started using ChatGPT back when it was ChatGPT 3. And when GPT-4 came out, the difference was they weren't even in the same ballpark. They weren't even on the same plan, right? GPT-4 is vastly more powerful than GPT-3. That same level of difference is the difference between GPT-4 and GPT-4 Omni. It's just so much better in every conceivable way. It's a lot more dynamic. It's going to help you solve problems better. It's way better at figuring out exactly what you need. It's web. It can search the web as well, so it's going to give you accurate information based on the web if you need that. And the other capabilities that it has, I mean, I could go on for hours about it. The other capabilities for vision, speech recognition, voice recognition, being able to detect fluctuations in your voice to determine your emotion, and then it determines its response based on that. It's a really, really cool thing. And I'm excited to see what companies come out with in terms of software and other solutions for business owners using GPT 4.0. There's already been a couple of updates to some of the softwares that I use that they're now using GPT 4.0 instead of GPT 4, and the difference is 10 times better than it was before, and that's just it's insane to me. So yeah, that's the biggest thing in the last 30 days.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I started using ChatGPT when it first came out, probably about 14 months ago. And I've increased my usage on all sorts of AI for lots of different purposes. And it's funny, like in the past, well, just to look at this year, the past 6 months, essentially. I mean, you have Gemini, you've got Claude, you've got ChatGPT, right? And each one comes out new, and it's just bettering and bettering and bettering themselves. You go back to ChatGPT 14 months ago. I mean, it was like Fred Flintstone's vehicle, right? ChatGPT 4.0 is like a Tesla truck compared.
Yep.
And just that last 30-day upgrade, I mean, it's a huge jump. And we're seeing this accelerate, which is why it's so important. If you're not using AI right now and starting to understand it, you are going to be left behind, because business owners, people that are using it, you're going to be in first grade. They're going to be in graduate school with the ability of using AI. And there are a lot of ways of using it. You know, I know there's people out there, hey, put together my workout routine. Hey, put together my diet. Hey, it's my personal coach. You know, ChatGPT 4.0 that came out. I mean, you can talk to it. It'll sing to you. It will coach you, right? So
Yep.
understanding those things of like if you're a life coach and doing get better life coaching from ChatGPT, how long are you going to have a business in place? Now, not everyone's going to want to work with electronics versus a human. And I understand that. And I don't think we're going to be replaced. But you looking at ChatGPT, looking at actually softwares and systems that are starting to use AI, right? Like that's something that's becoming huge from, you know, from bots that go out there and have complete conversations, setting up custom GPTs that can have conversations as if it's you. You can plug these things into your business and systems. You can create softwares around stuff. And this is really going to be insane because this is really now that if AI is just the foundation, well, what type of tool or software can I have that's going to accomplish this major task that I can just plug into my business and take over? And I don't even need to really learn AI. And I think we're going into that and you're stepping into that. So kind of talk about what you're seeing out there from the cross between just the platforms and softwares out there now.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, one of the biggest goals as a business owner that you should have is to fire yourself from every position except for owner, including the position of CEO once you get to that point. And AI is fast tracking that, especially with some of the softwares that are coming out there. I'll just talk about a few real quick. There's one that came out that works on your personal Facebook Messenger. So it basically turns your personal Facebook account into an AI DM setter. And if you use it as an AI DM setter, it can send anywhere from 30 to 50 messages a day to your target audience and book phone calls for you. I actually used a software like this, and my first month of using it, I generated over $7,000 in revenue, and I brought over, and of that revenue, 5,500 was monthly recurring revenue, and that was in the first month of using it. Now, I think that other business owners that are a little bit more high ticket could benefit a lot from that. That $7,000 that I earned came from about 90 booked calls in 1 month. If you were a high ticket business owner and you had kind of some high ticket products, that $7,000 probably would have been multiple 5 figures for you. Just so that
And Brandon, that's how you and I actually met, right?
that,
Like you were out there and I was blown away by everything. Of looking at the software. And ironically, just yesterday, I put a post out there. It was a screenshot. Actually, it was 4 of them. I got a friend request from this guy.
Yep.
It was immediately this really horrible message. I didn't respond to it. Then it was a question mark. So I responded with question mark. And then it was a pre-written script. I did question mark, pre-written script. And this went on for about 20 minutes.
Really?
So shots. It was like 15 messages. Complete garbage.
Wow.
It's why people hate DMs, because there are so many bad DM setters out there and there's so many bad conversations are had. They're just ridiculous and kind of bait and switchy. But also, I think a lot of people are really scared about moving to an AI aspect because of that type of experience as well. And the software you're talking about, completely different.
It is. And that being said, it is still just a tool
Yes.
that needs to be programmed correctly, because it could very easily go down the rabbit hole just like that if it's not programmed correctly. And I highly recommend taking some time to learn about prompting AI and what AI needs to see in order to give you the output that it wants. But yes, when a tool like this is set up correctly, it does amazing things. But when it's not set up correctly, it can be damaging for your business and your reputation as well.
100%, just like having a bad setter, right? But that setter at least is human.
Yeah.
This one was so bad, you know. And when you and I met, there was actually another software that I bought that technically did the same one that you have. And there were actually 3 I was looking at. One, I was like, dude, I'm never putting that because it's going to destroy my reputation. I don't care if it's out there connecting with people if it's going to destroy my reputation out there. And that's the biggest fear for a lot of people. And both of the softwares, that the other two softwares, one was yours, actually having a conversation with the AI through DMs. I'm like, holy crap, I can't tell the difference between when you actually jumped in and when the software took over.
Yep.
And that was like, okay, this is actually really good. Right. And I know more and more people are going to be a lot more nervous, curious, concerned, excited about, oh my gosh, AI can have conversations, no different than, the last 20 years when you call up and there's just an automated, hey, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, right? No, this is actually having a conversation is really huge, but letting people know sometimes too. Hey, like there's messages I'll send people and I'll be like, hey, just let you know, I'm not a beep, boop, bop, boop, 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 beep, right? Like this is a real human. You're having a conversation with me. I think that's a really important thing. It's even sometimes I send a voice note so people know it's not just an automated thing. But the fact that I couldn't tell the difference really was the most impactful for me. And I know that in the last 90 days, it's actually improved since then. Where's it going to be 6 months from now? So that's just one software that you could plug into your business that is going to bring you your ideal customer and connect with them on social media.
Yep.
Instead of having to spend $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month running ads, and it's going to do some of the heavy lifting for you to start those conversations. That's a game changer for a lot of businesses. And that's where a solopreneur like myself, hey, instead of spending $5,000 to $10,000 in ads, I can do something for $100, $200 a month, get the same result. That's a financial game changer.
Yep.
That's where also these larger businesses, they've got these large machines going into play, which I help put those strategies and those funnels and those systems in place for business owners as well. But when someone has $1 million to spend in ad spend, plus they put this, again, they're going to speed by you so quick. And that's why it's really important to jump on some of the stuff right off the bat. So that's just one software. What's some other things that you're seeing, or as a fractional AI expert that helps businesses, build systems like this? What are some key things that you're seeing business owners needing, or that you're seeing that you're using personally?
Yeah. I'll go into talking about another one that I think is really beneficial for a lot of people, because many people, like you said, they don't have the ad spend to compete with others in their industry. And it's a shame, and it's unfortunate, because even if you're spending $200, $300, $400 a month on ads, a lot of times you're just wasting that. It's going down the toilet. You're not getting good leads, and so on and so forth. It's been said that unless you're spending $150 to $200 a day on ads, you're not going to get
3 to 5K a month. Yeah, 3 to 5K
a month.
Yep.
And a lot of businesses, they never reach that point where they can afford that. So
Right.
having solutions like this that can reach out organically to people is a game changer. But reaching out organically is not the only part of that puzzle. It's not the only part of that pie that needs to be filled. In my opinion, there needs to be more social proof, and that's what sets my results apart from a lot of other people's results apart when they're using softwares like this. So I found another software that does commenting on people's posts.
Yep.
And you program the software with the personality that you want it to have. So I programmed it with like my personality, my likes, my dislikes, the people that I aspire to be like, the people that influence me, and everything like that. And then I gave it guidance on how I want it to react on certain types of posts. And even right now, it is going through, and every 3 to 4 minutes, it's commenting on another post. And you might say like, okay, well, what the heck does that do for me? What that does for you is that kind of hacks the Facebook algorithm, because Facebook rewards you based on the amount of engagement that you do on other people's posts. So now when you post something, Facebook is going to show that post to anywhere from 3 to 10 times more people right off the bat. And if it's a good post and it's high value content that everybody wants to engage with, and people start actually engaging with it, then that post can almost go viral without you having the following that an influencer might have.
Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed is that my engagement rate has gone up by about 5 times. I'll post, and a lot of my posts will have over 40, 50, 60 comments. And it wasn't like that before I started using that software. And it's translated to $2 for me as well, because people see my content, they like it, they engage with it. It causes more people to see my content, they like it, they engage with it. And every once in a while, there's somebody that says, hey man, I like what you're doing and I want to work with you. So having that in place, having that social proof, and then having that first software that we talked about in place, actually DMing these people. By the time it DMs them, chances are they've already seen me commenting on their post and other people's posts as well. So it's not a completely cold DM.
Yep. And it was one of the reasons why I reached out to you a couple of weeks ago, because of that software as well. And I've been really nervous to have a software like that do that for me, because a lot of my network and a lot of how I generate clients and build is organic, and it is in certain groups commenting. And a lot of the commenting I'm putting out is not a generic thing. It really is. Like, I was in one of the major marketing groups that I'm in, some of the top marketers in the game there. Somebody posted some of their ad results and posted a link, and I put a detailed breakdown of their whole landing page. Right? Hey, your headline, there's nothing powerful, intriguing about it. The word hack is not going to get you anywhere. Your subheadline doesn't give me any intrigue. There's no reason for me to continue going through. And I basically broke everything down, and I had a very long post on that. That is very huge for me. Right? Yeah. But what you're talking about, and why I reached out to you a couple of weeks ago about it, is going the engagement aspect. This isn't meant to go out and solve people's problems on posts, but to engage with their posts of, hey, dude, I agree with this. I don't. Hey, right on. Have an awesome day. It's being social on a social network, right? Yep. And that is huge, because to your point of, it gets people to engage. When you're commenting on someone's post, more likely than not, they're going to start seeing yours.
Yep.
Or they're going to be like, who is this Brandon guy? And then they're going to start looking at your stuff. And all of a sudden, when they start looking at your stuff, now Facebook's going to start showing more of your stuff. And so when you run ads, you pay $1 to get in front of one person, just random numbers, and for 1 second, and then you have to pay $1 again, right? Having something like this is to get that person in that ecosystem of yours. So the algorithm keeps showing them your stuff, interacting. And again, it's a huge game changer in, if you're trying to build an organic business or maximize your paid ads with organic, because it's driving more people to it. And it's just going to essentially put gas on the fire of where you're at. And you are 100% proof on that it works. I know a lot of people are out there doing it, and some of them are freaking awful.
Yeah.
Some are really, really good. And that's the difference too, of if you're choosing a software, like when it's going to start DMing people or commenting. It's why I love Brandon, because of who he is. And that was one of the reasons why I bought from him, because I buy from people. And so choosing a software that's going to perform, but someone also, it's amazing, it's going to help you through that process, that's using that software, that is really good at it, to be able to support you through that, is super, super important to me. And that's one of the reasons why I've worked with Brandon on these things. And so if anyone, I'm going to do a shameless plug. If anybody wants to learn about these softwares, shoot me a DM. And I will connect you with Brandon. We'll get going on there. He obviously makes a commission off it. I'll actually make a little commission off it too. So shameless plug for both of us, but these are game changers for my business, for my clients' businesses. I know a lot of people out there, it's been for yours. So what other type of things are we seeing software wise?
I would say the same exact software exists for LinkedIn, which I'm starting to migrate a little bit more towards LinkedIn now, because let's just
now I'm mad at you. I'm going to cut you off, and I'm mad at you.
Why is that?
Because 90 days ago, that other software that we were just talking about, I said, hey, does this do LinkedIn too? And you're like, no, but it's hopefully soon. And you didn't tell me you found a LinkedIn one, because
I found one that does comments on LinkedIn. I haven't found one that does DMs.
That's fine. Okay, good. I'm not mad at you anymore. But now we'll have to talk off camera about some of this stuff too. Yeah. Go on. That's awesome, because I think there's a lot of people that are moving to LinkedIn right now, and I think we're seeing a blending of corporate and online businesses coming together, because a lot of online businesses actually don't have a foundation of what a real corporation of business have. And I think people are learning that. And I think there's a lot of corporations that are trying to become a personal brand, but also start doing the things that online marketers are super successful at. So you're seeing a blending. And I think LinkedIn is a very under-tapped resource if you're an online business owner. So let's talk about this one, because I'm excited to hear about that. I didn't know that. And
This one is pretty cool because LinkedIn doesn't give you the same guardrails that Facebook does, right? If I put 100 comments on Facebook in a day, Facebook's going to restrict my account for 72 hours. They're going to say I can't comment anymore. So even with, an AI that's commenting, I limit it to 80, 90 comments a day. It's obviously a lot. That equates to, over 4,000 comments per month. It's amazing. But on LinkedIn, you can do that times like 5. And you can, and with this software that I've been testing, and I'm actually going to start recommending it to people, you can target posts from specific keyword searches, and you can target specific profiles. So if you're like, hey, you know what? Every time Alex Hormozy posts, I want to be the first person to comment within 15 minutes. And obviously, if you're one of the first people to comments within 15 minutes, your comment is going to be one of the first things that people see when they see that post. So it's all going to put more eyeballs on your profile. It's going to put more views on your posts. It's going to put more views and impressions on the things that you're doing on LinkedIn as well. So obviously, you want to have your LinkedIn profile optimized. You want to make sure that it looks good, it looks professional, it looks presentable, that you have some posts on there, you have some social proof on there, have some of the people that you've worked with give recommendations. But this is just another one of those tools that's going to get a lot more eyeballs on your profile. And the more eyeballs they are, you're in the marketing business. The more people that see your stuff, the more likely it is that you're eventually going to get a sale from it.
Yep. And I talked with a lot of my clients, a lot of people out in the space too, about these softwares and these tools that can be used, right? And it's like any tool. If you and I are going to go build a house and we both have a hammer and a saw, I'll tell you what, we're not going to be nearly as good as a professional with it, right? Yeah. And so understanding what a tool can do for you, and is it actually something that's going to be extremely beneficial? And the way I view it, does it save you time? Does it bring in income? Does it accomplish your ultimate goal? And how quickly does that do that? And talking about some of these softwares that again, we're talking less than $500 a month for essentially all of them, right? Like it's not an overwhelming expense.
Not that much at all. Yeah.
Correct.
Less than 400. Yeah. It's not that much.
Right. And if you think about what it's going to do for your business, that is, again, talking about like AI, when it started way back when, it was like Fred Flintstone's vehicle, and now it's a Tesla truck. It's that big of a gap between running ads and a dollar for dollar and having this engagement. It's that much more of a benefit in my view, because it is a more permanent aspect. You're actually being social on social. It's not just an ad popping up. Not that ads aren't good. They are very good. But the other thing though comes in, hey, you can have this bot going out and commenting, you can have it DMing people. But if you don't have an actual strategy and pieces in place to actually bring someone through an ideal buyer journey to become a client, it's going to fail anyway. And that's where sometimes bots are really, really important to do certain things. But if we also don't have a well-built strategy and system inside that tool for it to be used properly, good luck, right? And that's where I see some people fail, where I've seen people, hey, I tried that software, it didn't do anything. No, it did exactly what it did.
Yeah, you just didn't have a system in place to leverage. Exactly.
And that's exactly it, 100%. And so, it's one of the big things with my clients, why it's maximized, because we already have those assets in place. They already have education on whether it's sales calls, DM sales, the assets in place to send someone through, hey, you're selling a book right now. We'll talk about that in a second. Hey, buy my book. Hey, here, I've got this offer, right? And it's a click to cart something. Hey, this is my book a call funnel. This is my, here's an upsell funnel. Where are we sending people and doing things strategically, which is where the success is going to come to play as well. And so those matter. So if you just have the tool, but you have nothing else in place, good luck, right? You could build your friends list, but you're not going to make any more sales.
I don't think any tools like this should be used to directly sell a high ticket offer or service. I think that the age of closing people on high ticket offer services upfront is almost over. I haven't seen very many people being successful with it. What I am seeing is taking people through a low to mid to high ticket type of journey. You know, you want to establish credibility with someone first. So how do I establish credibility? Well, I talk about AI, I give tips, I provide value, I go in and I communicate with people, I build relationships, and then, you know, maybe they'll buy a small course from me, they'll buy a book from me, or they'll purchase one of my softwares to them that's a fairly low ticket. I think the lowest ticket one I have is like $50 per month, which is, you know, all things considered, that's pretty low ticket. And then once they see the value of it, they're like, okay, hey, this Brandon guy knows what he's talking about. What else does he have? And from there, I can go in and do kind of an overview of their business, their operations, the systems they have in place, and recommend different AI softwares, or if need be, you know, we can get something built for them. I do software development and AI development, so I can work with pretty much any client for any solution that they need.
Yeah, and I am going to challenge you on that. I agree with majority of what you say, and like I have that exact conversation with clients. The high tick, you know, straight to a high ticket offer is becoming more difficult right now because of a lot of reasons. Sophistication of the buyer, ads are getting more expensive. A ton of people have been burned online, so you need to really build a lot more trust or authority. They really need to have a better understanding of what they're actually getting with that, right? Because a lot of people bought marketing, then got sold by a sales guy and got in and realized this is completely the opposite of what I thought I was getting. It's not anything close, or they didn't get the result or whatever. So people are a lot more gun shy. Now, I have a lot of clients that do have straight to high ticket offers and are very successful with it.
Man,
right? Yeah, but to your point of, you know, talking about assets, it's why a lot of clients come to me, because I don't sell someone a tactic. Hey, $20,000 for me to put a setter and closer in your business and have a 6-minute VSL, right? No, hey, there's a lot of ways to generate people. And to your point of, hey, we've got some of these lower ticket items that could be $50 to $250 where people are watching your stuff and like, oh yeah, I'll go pay $50 to learn that, or 250, right? But to have that also be an ascension where, because every time that if someone has a problem, you sell them something for a solution, you solve that, another problem occurs. And to understand that process where that high ticket then is the solution you're trying to eventually get everyone at, not everyone is ready for that. And that's only about 10 to 15% to your point. What are you doing with the other 85%?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you potentially could make $100,000 a month, you're bringing in 15 right now because you only focus on 15. You're missing out that other 85,000 because you don't have these pieces in place. And those are all the things I help my clients build as well, and why a lot of them are really successful. But also, again, I've got clients that are just high ticket offers. That's it. They have to be done right, which is more to your point. Well, that's becoming harder, which is why AI and some of these systems and some of these tools become so important for a lot of individuals. So I kind of brought up your book. You have a book out right now.
I do. Yeah. It's in pre-sale, so I don't know when this podcast is going to air, but book launch is June 1st. And so basically what the book's title is, Using AI Like a Pro. And after working with dozens and dozens of clients, developing software, developing AI, programming AI, and so on and so forth, I learned and kind of realized that pretty much every business and every solopreneur, everybody that's trying to leverage AI, they want to leverage AI, but they don't know how to do it. And that's the purpose of this book. The purpose of this book is to take somebody who is a beginner / non-user to a intermediate to higher intermediate level. The book is very heavy on prompt engineering. So it breaks down, hey, these are the basics of a prompt. This is stuff that you want to include. These are some prompt strategies. The point of the book was not to give you prompts, because there's tons of places. I mean, you probably see them on Facebook. I'll
Yep.
sell you 10,000 prompts for 10 bucks. Yeah, okay, cool. But purpose of my book is to teach you how to think so that for any business in any situation, you can create the prompt that is necessary for that specific purpose.
I'm glad you brought that up. And I want to stop there real quick because, yeah, I mean, there's tons of AI groups you can join and people selling 10,000 prompts for 10 bucks and all this type of stuff. And people are buying it and using those prompts and not knowing any better is the problem, right? The lack of education. And as an example, I know there's an individual out there that's been in the space for a long time, has had a lot of success financially over a long time, is selling a $10,000 course that gives you a prompt for a VSL.
Oh my God, man. And let me give your listeners a little knowledge nugget here. One of the strategies that I teach in my book is if you don't know the prompt, a good prompt for what you want to do, one of the easiest things that you can do is ask AI to make you a prompt. You can literally go to AI and say, hey, act as an expert prompt engineer. I would like to create a prompt for this specific purpose. Can you please create a prompt that I can use to get the most optimal output? And it will, and then you just open up a new chat, throw that prompt in there, and you'd be surprised at how amazing that thing is. So like for VSL, gosh, God dang, man, if I if I needed a prompt for a VSL, I would say, hey, I need a prompt for a VSL. This is my business. This is this, this is this. And then I would tell the AI to ask me some clarifying questions. And it'll ask you clarifying questions. And then afterward, it has all the information that it needs, give you a prompt and give you the VSL script that you need to optimize what it is that you're doing for your specific purpose. So yeah, that just blows my mind. People are out there just squeezing for money. I know of a couple other AI gurus out there that people work with them, and I've seen their work. I've seen the AIs that they programmed. I've seen the prompts behind it. I've hacked some of the AI prompts behind it. That's another story. We'll get into that probably on a different call. But man, I look at some of the ways that they train these AIs, and it's like, this person paid $6,000 for this. It blows my mind.
Yeah. And to your point, like you said, hey, 10,000 prompts for 10 bucks, right? That person went to ChatGPT, said, hey, write me 10,000 prompts, right? And then they just cut and pasted and like, hey, I'm going to sell this to a bunch of people for $10 because they don't have any idea. And again, it's why it's important if you're a business owner, if you're a marketer, if you're in sales, copywriting, whatever it may be, if you're not understanding and starting to learn about AI, you're going to be squashed really quick. And, it's really interesting, talking about, like you said, of, hey, write me a prompt for this, right? And it will kick out some really good stuff.
Yep.
But
now, what I will say before I forget is that I actually have an upsell in my book, buy 10,000 prompts for 10 bucks. Right? Yeah. Like, oh crap, Brandon, you're playing both sides of the coin here. Well, I actually specifically say with that, hey, use everything that you learned in this book to leverage these prompt ideas.
Yes.
And I know that by doing that, you're going to get a hell of a lot better results out of those 10,000 prompts.
100%. And that's where I was going to go. And that's right why I said, right? Because again, I see people out there now using ChatGPT and a prompt to write a VSL, and you have the same 100 people using the all exact same prompt to create the exact same VSL. How successful do you think you're going to be in the marketplace?
Probably not.
Probably not. If 100 of your competitors are all using the same prompt, that same VSL, is any differentiation there, right? And as an example of, like, one of my longest prompts is actually 10 individual prompts. Each prompt probably has 1,000+ words to it and directions to it.
Yep.
So you start there, you get one piece. Now next, boom, 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 boom. And that's how I'm able to get my brain, my knowledge, my understanding into actually helping AI get something done quicker, not to have AI just mechanically go through and solve a problem that's going to be very general that anybody can do, right? anybody can run an ad, anybody can post on social media, anybody can write a sales letter, anybody can put a link to buy a product. What separates the successful from the unsuccessful? Uniqueness.
Yep.
Your story, your brand, right?
Let me
Yeah, go ahead, please.
let me play off that. One of
Yeah.
the things one of the extras that I include with the book is a tutorial for how to make AI sound like you. And I go through a whole process on how to do it. It's step by step. You can follow along with it. It was made specifically for ChatGPT 4.0. You even have to take a personality test in it in order to give those test results to the AI. But afterward, you have a little, what I call a personality prompt tag that you can then put at the beginning or at the end of every prompt that you do. And then the output will be in your tone and your voice.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm helping people personalize their usage of AI, especially when it comes to creating content.
Yeah, which is amazing. And you've been part of the AI thing since essentially the beginning, and you can spot AI pretty quickly.
Yeah, easily.
Right. And it's going to get to that point very, very fast. And that's why understanding some of these softwares, or how to actually program the AI, or to actually the directions to give it. Right. And I loved your little nugget that you gave, and I'm going to reiterate it so people don't miss it. Don't tell AI what to do. Oftentimes we have to ask AI, what do you want me to do for you? Right. So again, hey, create me a prompt for this.
Yep.
What
Yep.
do you need from me to help this? How can I help you so you can accomplish this task better? What can I do for you? Right. And one of my copywriting coaches, who's one of the best copywriters on the planet, and they use a lot of AI to start with. You have to still be a good copywriter. You still have to be able to know frameworks and understanding processes to actually make it work. But that was one of the things that he really emphasizes. You're working for the AI, and that's where a lot of people fail.
Yep.
If you just plug in a prompt, good luck. It's just going to kick out your general stuff. So
garbage in, garbage out. Yeah, you have to know
correct.
what's not garbage.
Correct.
If your listeners take anything from this, it's one, learn prompt engineering, right? Take the time to learn that. It doesn't take that much. There's plenty of courses out there. I'm going to be offering a course on it soon, or read my book. And then two, ask AI how you want it, or how you can help it. So like a lot of the times I'll just say, hey, ask me some clarifying questions before you give me the results. And it will just go out and do it, and in my book, I go through advanced prompting techniques. I go through how to use certain coding symbols to highlight certain areas or make AI think a certain way about certain things in your prompt. I go through all of that. But if you were to just do one thing, and that's ask AI what information it needs to give you the output that you want, that's going to be a game changer right there. You wouldn't even have to go through a course.
Correct. And that's the other thing there's a lot of AI courses popping up all over the place. And sadly, a lot of them are written by AI itself, and people are just packaged up and selling it for $500 to $5,000.
Yeah.
And that's really insane. Right. And that's why you have to be careful out there. And again, talking about the market, talk about high ticket. A lot of people just don't jump to high ticket. Why? Because they've been sold that bill of garbage. Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff, like, just go to YouTube. Right. Like, you can learn a lot of the stuff on there. I'm really excited to get your book, and everybody, there's going to be a link in the comments so you can get the book. We're 5/29 right now. So I am not going to launch this until 6/1, which will be next week, or it'll be Monday next week, which will be the 3rd. So people will be able to buy your book immediately. So I'm glad you brought up the date of when that's going to launch. I'm looking forward to purchasing that and going through that as well. Now, we're both short on time today and have a hard stop. And so I want to have you come back on for sure, because there's so much we can talk here. This was a very good starting point for just opening up some eyes with people. But I think talking about your software development side of things, looking at strategy and systems actually with businesses, some of the things maybe you're implementing. It gives people some ideas of the possibilities out there. I think would be some really good conversations. Before we jump off here, is there anything you want to kind of leave a nugget for people, or anything? Kind of just floor is open, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on here. It's been great. It's been great. I've had a lot of fun, and it's been great catching up with you.
Great.
As far as things that I would leave, you know, the last stuff that I would leave with, you know, start using AI if you're not using it already. Try out the different LLMs. That's the different AIs out there, the Perplexities, the Geminis, and stuff like that. Try out different ones. Sometimes trial and error is the best way to go about it, and see the results, see the output that you get from each of them. Ask each one of those AIs what information it needs from you to accomplish the same task, and see what the difference is. And eventually you'll find one that works best for you. Some people prefer Claude, some people prefer Gemini. I personally prefer ChatGPT 4.0. I think it's the most powerful one. I think it's the smartest one. But, you know, in the last 30 to 60 days, every single one of these LLMs has upgraded in some capacity. So you know, a month after this podcast airs, ChatGPT 4.0 may not be the most powerful one. So that's why I encourage people, go out there, try each individual one. I think all of them have like some sort of free trial or a free version of it that you can use, and just see how it helps you. See, look at the output that you're getting, and pick which one works best for you.
Yeah, and that's super good advice. And I use all three. And because each one is a little bit different, and each one, to your point, I know in 30 days, if we were doing this, we're gonna be like, oh, Claude's way better now with their upgrade, right?
Yep.
But all three of them, even though they're AI, they're connected to certain things and the internet and blah blah. Again, it's a software that's been told to do something, and all of them are programmed a little bit differently, so you get different outputs, right? Like Claude was really good for certain copy there for a while and was blowing ChatGPT out of the water. ChatGPT is now coming better, right? Gemini is doing some amazing things. And if you start messing around with Gemini, I mean, Gemini booked my flights last week down to Texas for me.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Yeah, you can go to Gemini, and if you have their upgraded version, you go in and put at flights, and you just tell it, and it handles everything for you. It really is crazy of where AI is going and what's going to happen with our society over the next 6 months, 12 months, and 5 years from now is really mind blowing to think. Like, we're Skynet level in a couple of years, right?
I would say so. Yeah, within 1 to 2 years, I think Elon Musk said it the best. Within 1 year, AI is going to be smarter than any living person on the planet. And within 3 to 5 years, AI will be smarter than all humans combined on the planet, which is, you know, incredible. And I shared a post on Facebook. I know we only got about 5 minutes left, but I shared a post on Facebook. I think it was yesterday, about all the AI companies have agreed to have basically a kill switch in place to prevent a Terminator style scenario from happening. And that, to me, like, for me, that's the golden ticket. For me, that's like, we did it. Hell yeah. We're not going to be destroyed by AI, because if something ever happens, there's a kill switch in place that destroys all of them. And so we can move forward in peace in my mind now because of that. And I'm excited for it.
And I'm kind of bummed we finished up with this, but also excited because we can look at anything doom and gloom.
Yep.
Right now, I'm a man that walks and believes in Jesus Christ, walk myself and conduct myself as a Christian, faith, belief, all these type of things. Fear is not part of my makeup because of that. We can look at anything dangerous as a tool, right? And yeah, we have seen all the movies, we've read all the books, we've heard all the stories where, yeah, it could go to Skynet level. It could go to iRobot. We could end up like Blade Runner. There's a lot of things. We could also, all of us technically all could be plugged in to the Matrix right now and not even know it, right? There's a lot of doom and gloom out there. But when you can embrace a tool and see how it's going to help you, that's really important. Now, the kill switch and that stuff is interesting, you know, because would we get to that kill switch in time, you know, type of deal. I know that there was somebody that did So they actually had a 8-minute script written up by AI, used AI to actually put the movie and create the movie. And so it's 8 minutes, and it's how AI, if it was trapped, what it would do. And it talked. And so the AI said, well, what I would do is I searching all over. So this AI figured out how to connect to a Roomba, then the Roomba to connect to the satellite to get back into, and it totally had its whole breakout plan squared away and to take over the world. It's pretty funny, you know. But AI is still just a tool, and you shouldn't be scared of it. And I know that's a lot of people are right now, either because of that part or because they don't know what to do. Go mess around with it. Just like when you got your first smartphone, it was weird. Just like when you first got Facebook, it was weird. Now it's second nature, like brushing your teeth. So start 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. Just go F around with it. Follow Brandon, myself, and buy his book. These things will help you in this process. And if there are any questions you have or any things that you want to learn about, comment below, because when Brandon comes back on, we will address some of those questions. So Brandon, again, thanks for coming on. Let's do this very shortly. We also need to talk about a few things off camera too, and talk some business stuff, which I'm really excited for, because if you and I aren't staying connected, staying up to date on everything that we're learning, we're getting left behind, which is, I want to make sure that we're passing everything off to everybody else as well.
For sure, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you on the next one.